Ali Larijani is a person to watch closely in all of this situation. I guess he's probably one of the more vocal remaining security leaders in Iran today. Very busy on social media these days. And he is putting out a direct threat to President Trump, posting this on X. The Ashura-loving nation of Iran does not fear your paper threats. Even those greater than you could not eliminate the Iranian nation. Watch out for yourself, lest you be eliminated. Joining me now, Mike Pompeo, former Secretary of State and former CIA director during Trump's first term. He has been the target of assassination attempts by Iran for his role in the 2020 killing of top general Qasem Soleimani. And he is also a Fox News contributor, of course. Secretary Pompeo, great to have you with us today. I guess we start there with your reaction and what your understanding is of Larijani and the role that he plays in Iran, given how many Iranian leaders have now been already taken out.
Well, Martha, it's great to be with you. Yeah, we've been tracking Larijani for years. He is a hardliner. Frankly, anyone who's been part of this regime, was one of the mistakes of the Biden-Kerry Obama clan was that they thought there was such thing as a moderate inside the regime. There's no such thing. It doesn't surprise me that Larijani's out talking about assassinating the President of the United States. It's pure bluster. It's designed to demonstrate his power inside what's left of the regime. And when he talks about not wiping out the Iranian nation, he's misstating President Trump's objectives. We want the Iranian nation to succeed. We want Larijani and his theocratic thugs to go away and not be destroying the lives of the Iranian people and threatening the region. So he's mistaken his objective for his life's continued sustainment for the objectives of the United States of America.
Yeah, I mean, you think about the beeper attack that Israel carried out against Hezbollah. And you have to think that each one of these individuals, including Muqtada Khamenei, the son of the now dead Ayatollah, who was in power for decades, they've got to be so careful. I mean, give us a sense. They can't pick up a phone. They cannot really come above ground at this point. We have incredible ability to track any sort of technology that they might be using, right?
Yes, Martha, most certainly. We've been tracking these cast of characters for a long time. Our technology is so much greater than it was just even 10 years ago. Our ability to identify them anytime they're around a sensor. So think cars, think phones, think all of the things that have electronics in them. My guess is that between Mossad and the CIA, we figured out how to track these folks down. So not only can they not go above ground, they can't really communicate with their counterparts. They don't know which of those are actually working for us or for Israel. Yeah. It's a very difficult leadership situation, and I'll bet we've got more missiles than they have Ayatollahs, and I'll bet that the efforts to take down and decapitate Iranian leadership are only at the front end.
Well, you know a lot about this as former head of the CIA as well as head of the State Department. Muqtada Khamenei, what can you tell us about him? And he has not been spotted. I mean, he hasn't made any sort of, he was supposedly named the new supreme leader, but, you know, all we see of him are sort of these images on the sides of buildings and some artwork so far.
You know, it is pretty remarkable, Martha. We've not seen him to actually claim the mantle of leadership, to say that, yep, I accept this role. It's pretty telling about how scared, how frightened, how frankly probably disorganized that leadership is. So we have a name, but not a public figure. A very difficult situation. And so when I hear folks talking about the fact that the Iranian regime continues to resist, I'd remind us all, we're 11 days into this, and we already have Iranian leadership that is so disorganized and so incapable of rising to lead their own people that they are now having to hide and stay away from any capacity to speak. I'll bet Larijani didn't type those messages out himself. I'll bet when he does a video, he does it deep underground. And this makes communication and organization very difficult for a regime that is now threatening not only to close a strait, but to take on an American president.
Yeah, it becomes extremely confining. We remember Yahya Sinwar and how he was taken out, and he basically was hiding underground for a very long time. And as soon as he stuck his head up, a building essentially landed on him. So we'll be watching what happens with these individuals. Thanks so much. It's always great to have you with us, former head of the CIA, Secretary of State.
Thank you, Martha.
Mike Pompeo.
Have a good afternoon.
Thank you, sir. You do as well. Thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.